If there are two things you picture when you hear the word kangaroo, chances are it's either a mama with a joey in her pouch or their propensity to hop across the outback. It's daunting enough these spring-loaded animals are about the same size and weight as humans, but their ancestors were even larger and closer to our timeline than you might expect, as Megan Jones at the University of Manchester explains.
Giant kangaroos were actually around shockingly recently. The extinction was around 40 to 50,000 years ago. They're from the Pleistocene, so essentially the Ice Age, although obviously it wasn't super icy in Australia at the time.
That time frame means these massive marsupials actually overlapped with humans for a while, and Jones says it's a delicate enough balance for their modern-day counterparts to hop at all.
They're actually really walking this tightrope almost when it comes to the safety of their bones and their tendons in their hind limbs, much closer to a level of stress that's going to break those than most animals do.
Previous studies had theorized the ancient versions may have been too big to hop, given they may have weighed as much as a grand piano. We've recently explored how T-Rex leg bones have been used to infer body mass, and it's a similar load-bearing thought exercise at play here.
What would happen if you made that kangaroo larger and larger, and at what point would they start breaking? In this case, it was the Achilles tendon that they predicted to break first.
Early estimates put the hopping limit of these extinct species around 140 to 160 kilograms, yet some of those roos topped out around 250. The problem was those earlier studies simply scaled up today's kangaroos to match their ancestors without accounting for the actual proportions of the bones changing as well. Jones's team did just that, analyzing 40 extinct specimens and about 100 living ones, focusing on their metatarsal bones since they'd be the most likely to break under bending loads. The calcaneum or heel bone also had to house a tendon wide enough to take on those hopping forces, and wouldn't you know it,
the heel bones where the Achilles tendon inserts, it's shorter and it's broader in the giant kangaroos compared to what you would expect in today's kangaroos.
That means it's not necessarily going to break that larger tendon if it tries to hop. Jones says while this study shows it's mechanically possible for these boomers to have bounded around, it's not definitive proof that they did.
It's perfectly possible that, it wasn't physically impossible for them to do it, but they chose not to because it wasn't a particularly useful gait for them.
Hopping may not have been their preferred mode of locomotion, opting perhaps to walk on all fours or use their tails to even greater effect than modern kangaroos already do for balance. Jones says this new result helps build our picture of Pleistocene-era Australia, including how these roos may have gotten away from predators like the marsupial lion.
They have very odd blade-like teeth and large thumb claws. Whether or not the giant kangaroos can hop to get away from them very much influences, what they have at their disposal to avoid that kind of predation.
A new perspective on an ancient animal with every small leap forward. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.